Hello friends, welcome once again. My name is Kaustav Bhattacharya. Today I am going to represent my topic on the respiratory system with special reference to the human respiratory system, and this is a very fundamental chapter, and also it's included in the CBSE class 10 syllabus, though I have tried to generalize the total chapter. So now let's have a look whatever I done. And first off to say, stay at home, stay safe, and utilize the time as your own best way. So let's have this chapter has been divided into 2 or 3 parts. Today we will discuss specifically on the human respiratory system, and next will be onwards in future. So let's have a look. So as I mentioned in the previous slide also, that you have to know what is the definition of the particular system. That was the digestive system. So you have to know what was the digestion. And here also similarly, when you are going to read the respiratory system, then you have to first know what is the respiration. So respiration is nothing but a process of breathing that actually exchanges two gases, that means the oxygen and carbon dioxide, with the outside environment and within the tissues. So this is the process that is called the respiration. There are basically 2 types of respiration present in our physiology, that is the external and internal. So external respiration means when there is a gaseous exchange with the outer environment and our cellular body, and the internal respiration that regards to the cellular level, I mean the gaseous exchange from our blood vessels and the internal purpose. So that is the 2 types of respiration process. So let's have a look about what are the parts, I mean the organs that actually runs through the respiratory system. So it starts from the nose, you can say the nostril, because the air will first pass through your nostril and then goes to the following parts like pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs, alveoli. Lungs that contains actually alveoli. So these are the parts of respiratory system. So this is a structure that starts from the pharynx. In previous slide, when I was discussing about the digestive system, I highlighted the term pharynx, that because I told that pharynx is the common portion of our respiratory system as well as in the digestive system. So here the importance of pharynx in our respiratory system we have to look out. Basically our pharynx has 3 parts. One is the nasopharynx, one is the oropharynx, and one is the laryngopharynx. By the names you can get know about the positions. So nasopharynx means the portion of the pharynx that is actually analogous to the portion of our nasal cavity. Then oropharynx is the middle part, and towards the larynx the part is called the laryngopharynx. So air is passing through the nasal cavity to the next parts, I mean the pharynx, and then trachea, and then other structures like bronchus, bronchioles, finally in the lungs that contains the alveoli. Here is the structure of alveoli basically that is given. Alveoli is the most important part of our respiratory system as well as the lung, because alveoli is called the structural and functional unit of the lung, because one lung contains totally 480 millions of alveoli as per assumption, and per one acinar unit, I mean per unit of the lung, there are more than 10,000 alveoli present. The main function of alveoli is obviously the gaseous exchange. Alveoli can construct and relax, and by this way they can release or they can intake the gases, I mean the oxygen and carbon dioxide. So here are the structures of alveoli that has been given, and some normal pathway and obstructed pathway of alveoli by the structure has been given. The normal pathway, when the alveolar contraction or relaxation is normal, then air will pass very smoothly. But if there is any obstruction can create in the pathway of our respiratory tract or etc., So then it can create some problems. Okay, so that has been given through the picture, and there is one air sac or the alveolus is called is the singular term, and alveoli is the plural. So the structure of alveolus has been also given here. So this is the respiratory zone of our physiology. It contains the uh, bronchioles, parabronchi, lung. Lung is the organ of respiration. You know that already. And then then the alveoli contains blood vessels, etc. So there will be some exchange of, there will be some role of circulatory system also. These are some histological representation of the cross section of lungs. According to the different stains has been given, the positions under the microscope, the histological representation of the lungs has been given. Here some parts we can isolate from the structures of the lung. The next is the very important one, that is which we told earlier, just mentioned, that is the internal respiration. So what is the importance of internal respiration? That is the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. It is called loading and unloading in our physiological language from the air sacs and the red blood cell. So what happens? Let's have a look. First of all, in the time of loading of oxygen, oxygen will pass from the alveoli to the red blood cell, and we know that RBC contains hemoglobin, and hemoglobin and oxygen jointly forms oxyhemoglobin. And in the plasma, there is bicarbonate ion. Bicarbonate ion actually acts with free radical hydrogen H plus, and it forms the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid further dissociates to carbon dioxide and water by the help of carbonic anhydrase. This carbon dioxide unloaded further to the alveoli of the air sac. By this way, the oxygen will enter and finally carbon dioxide will release. It is called the loading and unloading of the gases. Just the opposite phenomenon happens when this occurs in the loading of carbon dioxide and unloading of oxygen happens. Here the carbon dioxide enters to the plasma, and then plasma containing water, and then it forms the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid will dissociate to the H plus and HCO3 minus. This H plus will form the they will form the oxyhemoglobin, and oxyhemoglobin, hemoglobin and oxygen. Then the oxygen will unload to the tissue cells. Okay. This is the process of internal respiration. And this is a brief detailing of uh, uh, the interrelationship between the respiratory system and the immune system. I mean, that starts from the digestive system, some gut microbiota present in our small intestine, and they basically good for our health because they actually triggers some immunological responses, some activation of adaptive immunity which is needed for our protection, for our body's protection from the pathogens. Here is a PAMP has been given. PAMP means pathogen associated molecular pattern. I mean, there is a pattern that is located on the cell surface that actually, I mean, first notices the pathogen, and then they enters the pathogen. They give an entry to the pathogen, and then they will form some, they will bind to the receptor, and finally by any kind of phagocytosis or some phenomena, they will create some resistance against the pathogens. And it also initiates some inflammatory responses because it actually gives the signal to the our immune cells that they have to. Uh, so, to basic phenomena of the respiration, you know that there is the inspiration and expiration. Our in human, the normal respiratory rate is 15 to 20 times per minute. So, in case of inspiration, it is the simply the intaking of oxygen in our buccal cavity. Thoracic cavity then expands. It happens through the external intercostal muscle to contraction, and the diaphragm also contracts. And then the thoracic cavity expands, and it actually holds the oxygenated air. This is source of external intercostal muscle that will be relaxed, and analogous diaphragm, they also relaxes, so they cannot hold the air, pushing the air to go to the outside of the body. Okay, so that is the inspiration and expiration, two fundamental process of respiration, you can say. So this is an outline diagram of total respiration process. It actually includes internal and external, because you can see it starts from the air, then the oxygen will go to the nostril, then to the trachea, then to the bronchi, bronchioles, lungs, alveoli, and finally blood to the tissues. And just as the reverse pathway, the carbon dioxide will be ejected out from the tissues, alveoli, lungs, bronchioles, bronchi, trachea, nostril, and the air, and the carbon dioxide will expose to the outer environment. This is what I mentioned earlier, that is the role of gut microbiota with the gut-lung axis, with some respiratory system and also the inflammatory, also the immune system that actually keeps our lungs healthy, maintains its elasticity, maintains its regulation, etc. So these are some immunological reactions has been created. From the small intestine, some bacterial metabolite secretes it called the SCFA. What is SCFA? SCFA is the short chain fatty acid. Short chain fatty acid will go through the cell membrane to the our lung membrane, that is called pleura. Pleura is the covering of lung. It actually invades the parietal and visceral pleura, and they will go to the lung and maintains the lung environment of microbiota. There are some immunological responses has been created. You can easily look at that. Just like the activation of T cells, and then some migration of some receptors like MLN. They will help also to go to the lung, and the two types of immunoglobulin, that is IgA and IgG in the plasma cell, they are responsible for maintaining the environment in the lung, the inflammatory or the immunological environment in the lungs. They are basically responsible for the creation of this type of environment. So this is the interrelationship of homeostasis, so maintaining our body homeostasis, and the relationship with disease and the gut microbes. They can actually grow or trigger some viral infection, allergic response, but during the exposure of antibiotic, they can also be uh, submerged. So by this way we can counteract the any types of disease. Okay, so that has been given. So there are some major type of respiratory disease that is present in our environment. Basically, they are like tumors, infections, COPD. COPD means the chronic obsessive pulmonary disorder. Uh, Other pulmonary disease like emphysema, common bronchitis, that can also happen. The diseases like rhinitis, laryngitis. Rhinitis means from the name you can get the position of the disease. Like tracheitis means the infection in trachea, bronchitis means the infection in bronchus, bronchiolitis means the infection in bronchioles. Asthma can happen also. The cancer, final result can be the cancer, like some carcinogenic elements can trigger our respiratory system to false signaling that can create some lung cancer, or by excessive smoking also the probability of lung cancer can happen. So that's why we can see among the male population of our world, they has been suffered mostly in the lung cancer. Okay, and lung cancer is one of the most severe type of cancer, remind it cannot be cured so easily. And the you all know the recent onset of SARS, MERS, etc. I mean the severe acute respiratory syndrome, MERS. I mean the Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. They are the ultimate symptoms of this recent COVID-19 outbreak or etc. So these are actually very typical type of respiratory disorders that can happen. Okay, this is the interrelationship between the respiratory system and our blood circulation, because we know that alveoli, lungs, they both contain some blood vessels, and the interchange of the gases from the alveolar space to the alveolar lungs and alveoli to the blood vessels can happen very easily. First of all, the oxygenated blood that is sent to the heart. We know heart is the main portion of the main organ of our circulatory system. So heart will process the deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and then finally it go to the lungs alveolus. And you know, then the next pathway is the expiration, or the lung will release the carbon dioxide to the final for the ejection of the air to the outer environment. So that's why somehow our blood circulation, or the, you can say, the circulatory system, that is related with the interrelated with the respiratory system also. This is actually the measurement of lung capacity. I mean, when some sorts of air is intaking in the lung, then how long it can hold. This is the total lung capacity, how much it can hold. When the inspiration can happen, I mean the inhalation of air, then it is called the IRV, or inspiratory reserve volume. And tidal volume is the average volume of gases that is present in the lung already. And when the expiration happens, I mean the exhalation of air, this happens, then it is called expiratory reserve volume, or in short, ERV. So ERV, IRV and tidal volume, that consumes more area, and these three togetherly called the vital capacity of lung. Vital capacity means the holding capacity, the main air containing capacity of the lung, it is called the vital capacity. Total lung capacity minus vital capacity is the residual volume. So residual volume is the excess volume uh, other than the vital capacity is the residual volume. So so you can say the total lung capacity, or TLC, equal to VC, I mean the vital capacity, plus RV, I mean the residual volume. And this diagrammatic representation, or you can say the graphical representation, that is counted by respirometer or spirometer apparatus, which helps to examine the quality of air and also the capacity of lung. This is nothing but animatic representation of our lungs, different states, different situations. When our alveol, when everything is okay, our lung is processing very smoothly, then you can say they are the healthy and happy lungs. When some lungs are some problems, I mean some respiratory disorder, respiratory diseases can happen, then the lungs are suffering. So these pictures has been given by reminding of that type of situations. Okay. So last but not the least, once again, thanks a lot to everyone, especially the organization, for giving me the opportunity to share some experience on very important physiological, very important chapters of the physiology, that is the respiratory systems, and it also the fundamental chapters of our life process. It's also included in CBSE class 10 syllabus, but I actually tried to generalize the topic whole as a whole. So a plethora of thanks and plethora of gratitude from my behalf. So stay tuned for the next video. Bye.